Hi everyone, my name is Jack. I'm one of your peer mentors for Programming Fundamentals 2, and today we're going to be walking over Milestone 3 in Minesweeper. So first, why does this video even exist? This video exists because of Thanksgiving break. So we wanted to create this video to provide you additional guidance on Milestone 3 for Minesweeper, as Milestone 3 is due on November 30th, yet discussion would meet on December 1st. This would prevent students from receiving any advice from peer mentors regarding Milestone 3. And all of the information in this video can be found directly in the Milestone 3 or Minesweeper specifications document. So here, first we'll just talk about what is Milestone 3. So for your final project in this class, you're going to be submitting a complete implementation of Minesweeper. As many of you know, uh, as you submitted Milestone 2, you created one window. So Milestone 3 is just creating the other windows. So you're going to submit a zip folder containing your code and a README Markdown file, nothing else outside of that. And we'll speak more about that later, but no images or SFML libraries, nothing like that, just your code and your Markdown file. And the file formatting for the README file can be found in section 7 of the specifications document. This project is manually graded, so make sure that you meet all of the rubric requirements before submission. So unlike other assignments that were previously completed in this class, like you do not have any automated test cases, so you must ensure that your project meets the requirements on your own. And again, look thoroughly through the document to ensure that you're not missing anything that you otherwise would have been able to implement. So here's the rubric. In this video, we're not actually going to go too in depth on the rubric itself because I think that it's more important to discuss the tips and tricks that we have for you as peer mentors because this is like rather self-explanatory. But this rubric is found in table 2.2 and table 2.3 in the specifications document. And as you can see here, it's out of 130 points, and you're expected to implement these various features and items. So yeah, let's talk about specific things to do and not to do. So for starters, use the naming convention provided in section 7 of the document, because if you don't do so, then you'll receive a 10-point deduction. Only use the relative paths as defined in section 7.2, because if you use absolute paths, then you'll receive a 10-point deduction. Only include your code in the README Markdown file, so no images, no SFML libraries, nothing like that. Because if you include files that are not requested, then you'll receive a 10-point deduction. Don't use any global variables, and especially don't use SF texture or SF font because this will create errors. And just avoid the use of global variables altogether because if you use them, then you'll receive a 10-point deduction. And then make sure to use SFML3 because if you use SFML2, then you're going to receive a 10% deduction. So let's talk about grading. So to receive full points on a specific feature, the feature should work perfectly and there should be no bugs. To receive half points, the feature can have bugs, or is partially implemented, or is very slow. And for no points, the feature isn't implemented, or the functionality doesn't exist. Like if you created a debug button, but then the debug functionality did not actually work, that doesn't count as implementation. And if you believe there is a mistake in the grading of Milestone 3, contact your lab TA as soon as possible. This is because final grades must be submitted shortly after the grading process. So if you hesitate to contact your lab TA, then potentially final grades could have already been submitted by the time that you reach out. So again, if you realize or if you notice a mistake in the grading of your Milestone 3, then you should contact as soon as possible. So here's some advice. This is what I stress the most, but read the specifications document carefully because it's a rather dense document. And if you miss out on points that you would have otherwise received from just misreading the document, then uh, like your grade will suffer. So just ensure that you read the document carefully and follow all the instructions that it provides for you. Use the included files inside of the zip we provide because if you don't, then you're going to receive a deduction. And also you're going to be rather confused. So make sure to use like the font and the images that we provide. And all of this can be found on the Milestone 3 Canvas page. Ensure that the leaderboard window properly reverts the game window to its original state. So if it was in debug mode prior, then the game should be in debug mode once you close out of the leaderboard window. And if the game was paused before, then the game should still be paused once the leaderboard window is closed. Place components in the positions that we provided. I listed all of the sections here where you can see like the positions. So like, if you misplace components, then you're going to receive a deduction on a fairly easy thing to resolve. And then place all images inside of your CMake build debug directory. If you're using CLion, and the path should be your project directory, and then CMake build debug slash files slash, and then this wildcard is just for all of your files that we provided. Handle memory carefully, because if you don't handle memory carefully, then poor performance or memory leaks will result in a deduction. So again, just be careful with how you implement everything and make sure that it doesn't run too slow because otherwise you're going to receive a deduction. So yeah, that's everything that we're going to cover today. Milestone 3 is due November 30th, and good luck.